you can't accept, and you can transform. So integrate is a season where we bring aspects of awaken into transform. We bring aspects of transform and discover. For example, you have a symptom or an area of life or an area of your body that's been problematic, and you want to get rid of it, but you realize the way to get rid of it is to improve your health. You bring now the season of transform into discover. You're making transformative change in your body, and you consciously learn to integrate them and practice. You may hold a level 1 contact, and while doing it, add aspects of transform, aspects of existential healing involves innate intelligence as basically different intelligences. It involves a bioenergetic intelligence, which bioenergetic intelligence actually is about the survival element. Its innate intelligence controls the formation of the organs, the tissues, the connective tissue, the bones, the ligaments, the energy of the body. It's really the connective tissue intelligence. It's what we really work with mostly. That aspect of innate intelligence we work with in level 1 of care. We have the emotional energetic intelligence, which deals with the body's response to the environment, rapid change, ability to react. It actually allows the proteins that actually bind to the membrane to create a different genetic response, which emotions is really about. It controls the large muscles and tendons of the body, the postural muscles. It controls the immune system. We deal with this in level 2A of care and network. We also deal with that bioenergetic intelligence with stage 1 in SRI, the emotional intelligence level 2 in stage 2 of SRI. The thought energetic intelligence we deal with in level 2B. It's intelligence that helps condition you as a child. It allows you to develop this thing called the thinker to think, and it allows you to think right or wrong, good or bad. It's where the culture tells you what you're supposed to think, who you're supposed to be, all the rules about life, and all the boundaries. It's a great developmental stage from about 4 to around teenagehood. And this is associated with level 2B. And in level 2B, that's why people spontaneously start saying, wow, I'm changing my rules about what a mother is or father is. They start busting stress because they move out of the rules. In level 2A in care, people express a greater range of emotion. In level 1 of care, people start moving the connective tissue effectively, having more energy and breathing more effectively. Upper thought and energetic intelligence. It actually develops later on in teenage and adult life, and this is where you use the executive functions. This can only function without the stress hormones in the system. As soon as the stress hormones hit the frontal lobe of the cortex, you no longer have effective function, and you resort to the first 3 intelligences really developmentally before you're a teenager, and you're reacting in life. The lower thought intelligence helps you think this or that is your condition, only hold one perspective at a time, right or wrong, good or bad. The upper mental energetic intelligence helps you see multiple perspectives. What's the bigger model? How can I optimize this? What's the best I can do? This is what happens when people get into level 2C of care. Now the person's able to start unplugging from the rules they had. The person is able to start eliminating so many of the factors that happen with defense physiology as they start moving beyond defense physiology. And the person is able to make massive changes in life, constructive changes. They prepare for full resolution of the dominance of defense strategies, where the defense strategies of the mind, the thinking, no longer controls their life. They're able to experience what life is all about. As we finish level 2C, we have the ability to go into the soul energetic intelligence. The soul energetic intelligence is for wellness care. And then we have 3 oscillators, the 2 oscillators at level 2 of care, and the 3rd oscillator of the heart and the chest. And that is an advanced care. And now the person actually embodies the experience of soul, of what I call soul, not as a spiritual element, but as that force or intelligence that allows a person to see through the physical matter, to see that there's something going beyond that, to experience the connection between people, to feel the love, to have the gratitude, and where thoughts are no longer the thing mediating your experience. You experience the full nature of reality. That actually occurs later on in advanced wellness care. Although people may have aspects of that earlier in care, this is one of the intelligences that is available to people. The universal spirit intelligence is another organizing force, which is the fabric of the oneness of the universe. That is generally not expressed consistently in network care. It can happen by the care, but it's not actually associated with a level of care. This chart, reorganization of health, may be the most important chart that you may ever see in understanding reorganizational healing or communicating to people about health care. This chart came from Wilson and Cleary researchers in Journal of American Medical Association, January of 1995, which is when I was doing the network research study. It was one of the more influential charts I've seen, and this was actually introduced to me by Dr. Jerry Klum, who was president of Life West at the time, and said, Donnie, I think this chart really is the center of what the models you're looking to develop. This is what it says. I put reorganization health in the title. The chart is about health-related quality of life. In the center of the chart, you have biological physical variables, laboratory tests, x-rays, you may have biopsies, you may have surface thermography. That tells you a variable about the person. The next one on the left is symptom status. The practice of medicine looks at those last left side, those left two boxes, as the basis of healthcare. Doctors are trained to treat that. The assumption, if you get those type of things, the person is healthy. This is called the biomedical model of healthcare. Unfortunately, that has become a major aspect of the chiropractic profession. In the middle, you have functional status. That is, how well is it functioning? How well are you working? You'll find many physiotherapists work with, the actual physiotherapists and more occupational therapists work with improving functional status. Rehab medicine is higher end, looks at that. The physician looks at the lower left. They may refer you to the therapist or the occupational physiotherapist to improve your functional status. Then you have general health perceptions. How well do you think you're doing? How healthy do you think you are? What's your concept about health? The network retrospective questionnaire looks at this as a very important factor because research does show a person's perception about how healthy they're doing can make a very significant improvement or a detriment in their health. And very often a person's survival and mortality depends more on that than about the previous ones on the left. Then what is a person's overall quality of life? What is that about? Well, the social science model in medicine, which deals with optimizing physical, emotional, and social well-being, that actually starts with functional status, then general health perceptions, overall quality of life. I believe chiropractic would do much better if it put its entire focus on functional status, health perceptions, quality of life, the social science model rather than biomedical model. And with that, take a look at how the symptom and biological variables actually create a change. Wilson and Cleary said anyone in the future of healthcare and anyone who could bring together all these really basically is the delivery or is the deliverance of the future of healthcare. We have it. It's called reorganizational healing. At the top, we have characteristics of the individual. And what does that mean? What are the nature of you? What things do you have going for you? Do you meditate regularly? Are you a high-stress individual? Are you an achiever? What is your general basis of how you deal with health or symptoms? Do you basically go back for certainty? Do you go for variety? Do you not want to take risks? Do you want to take risks in the environment? Have you had illnesses for most of your life? Have you had positive motivation during your life? What's the nature of your life? What has your life been a laboratory for? These type of things. Those things actually can amplify the symptoms or reduce the symptoms. They actually amplify the personality. How motivated are you to be well or not? What do you value most? Do you value growth? Do you value certainty? Do you value being well? Do you value relationships? What is it you value most? This is it. Symptom amplification, personality modification, value preferences have a very, very, very important significance on symptoms, functional status, general health perceptions, and overall quality of life. At the bottom now, you have characteristics of the environment. Do you have psychological support or not? Whether a person lives or dies, most often is associated with such things as psychological support. In a large study of men who were in the cardiac ward who had cardiac heart attacks, those men who survived what they thought should have been a fatal heart attack, when they asked, why did you survive? No one said because they didn't eat meat or because they exercised. They said because someone loved them. They have something to live towards. How many people like who should have been dead by all standards, who waited a week or 2 weeks or a month for a family member to visit them in the hospital, and finally when the person came, they died then? How many people are aware of that? Social and economic supports. We talked about before cardiovascular disease being associated specifically with whether a person was eating with other people and had emotional and family support with them, economic supports. I can tell you the number one factor in men having back pain and disability, in a research of 22 other studies, they found was not with their disc pain or inflammation or those factors, is how they felt about money, how the men felt about their job or money. And when they felt unsupported in their job or financially, that's when they became pain and disability. Women more often will do that. My experience is when they have challenge with the children's relations, they have pain, their functional status reduces. Social and psychological supports. How psychologically supported? Do you have people who help you get to the other side of things? All disease can also be seen as a initiation process. Disease could be seen as a life transition. Do you have support on the other side of it? In your family, have you gotten support for being well, for making breakthroughs? So if you only gotten love attention when you had a problem, have you learned that a problem means love and attention? Have you learned not being able to negotiate things mean love? Or have you learned that coming to the other side of things mean love? These are the factors we talk about. Reorganizational healing deals with the characteristics of the individual. We deal with that. What is the person's trying to change? What is their energetic intelligence dealing with? What are the seasons they're dealing with? These are things. Now, we don't have to deal with them directly in reorganizational healing, but they are implicit in the care. Then you have characteristics of environment. The characteristics of environments are important. The characteristics of environment also is important in the field effect between individuals. How is that impacting people? Reorganizational healing recognizes all of these things. And a person who's a master in reorganizational healing deals with as many of these factors as possible and pays attention to the fact that the person coming in with a symptom, biological variable, is part of a bigger system. We want to shift the entire system. We look at the next chart and we see increasing complexity, increasing energetic resources needed. The more complexity the system has, the more it's able to be stable to negotiate it. As a person moves through levels of care, as a person who has more energy, moves through new, higher levels of energetic intelligences, they're able to have greater sustainability in higher and higher orders. This really is what reorganizational healing is about. We're teaching you this. I'm presenting this because I realize that a person's success in NSA is not just about the technique. It's how they practice it in life. I invite you to take a look at the Association for Reorganizational Healing Practice. I invite you to participate because you can apply NSA as a chiropractic technique and get wonderful changes. I believe ultimately the biggest market for people in every area, for people coming in, is for people who see the reorganizational healing perspective and have techniques that can produce a reorganizational change. We say chiropractic today for a better world tomorrow. Well, how does that happen? What does a better world for the individual look like? What does a better world for all of us look like? Congratulations on attending this program. Congratulations on listening to this recording. And congratulations for helping people reorganize for a higher level of complexity. That's why we say, how do we change the world? A spine at a time.